Hey everybody, just wanted to make you another video and share with you what's been going on lately. I'm just coming back to work from being on vacation, which wasn't much of a vacation, but well, it was actually a vacation. I just didn't get everything done that I wanted to do, but oh cute, my little birdie outside. Squirrel. Okay, so last video I said I was going to talk about therapies that I've done over the years that have worked and what hasn't worked. However, in the last 2 weeks I've had a lot of anxiety. A lot. And I hate it. Planned a trip to go down and visit some family, two family members, sorry. And I was totally good up until that morning, and of course everything runs through your head, and the thoughts that run through your head are just ridiculous, things that you just like, as if we control anything. I know we don't control anything. Just a mess. I'm so over it. I'm so over it. So I don't have much time to talk today because I have a client coming in, but I think for those of you who have anxiety, you know how hard it is to explain the thought patterns that run through your head, because there's not really a pattern. They're just stupid things that you think about that the majority of people don't focus on. And not that I wanted to focus on it or was giving it focus, but it was just there, and it was like in a state of like my whole body being uptight. And as I was going through it, I thought, wow, I should just record this and talk about the thoughts that are in my head. But I didn't really have the ability because my husband and my daughters were there, and we had to go, and I just kind of prayed and was like, all right, God, here I am, here it is, this is what it is, you know me, you know this is what's going to happen, so I'm just going to go with it. I'm just going to trust you and go with it. Because I could have called the whole thing off. I could have been like, you know what, this is too much, we're staying. But I didn't. So what's funny about it, and I'll talk more about the thoughts when I get back from my client probably, but is 2-hour drive, 2.5 maybe, I don't know, 2-hour drive. And as soon as I got in the car, my husband was doing the driving, which normally I drive because I'm a control freak and get car sick. But I was like, you're gonna drive. My husband's been, due to an injury, he's been not working, and he drives for a living, so he needed to drive. I needed him to drive, get out of his mindset that he's just been sitting. He's not a sitter, he's a doer, and sitting around and not being able to do much is not good for him. So said he could drive, he was driving, and it was like, normally I don't relax in a car, I don't fall asleep. I mean, the only person I'd fall asleep with driving is my husband, but normally not gonna happen, especially when it's raining and we're going through the mountains. I could not keep my eyes open. Literally could not keep my eyes open. Nor did I really want to close my eyes. Like, I didn't want to close my eyes because we're driving through these curves and it was raining and I don't know the road, and although my husband drives this sometimes multiple times a day, this trip, so for the strangest reason, not the strangest reason, I think it was God making me relax, like close your eyes and relax and just let it go. So I did, and we got there. There was a couple times I was like, I know you're comfortable with this road, but I'm not, so can you slow down a little bit? And he'd slow down, because he knew. I just give him a look, and he knows, oh crap, she's got anxiety, and this is not going to go well if I fight it. So, had a great time, spent the day with my family, or my aunt and my uncle, and it was fabulous. But all the while, I'm trying to control a situation where I'm like, okay, I want to be out of here before like 4 because I don't want to be stuck on the road at dark in the rain. Even though I knew my husband was driving, not a problem, he can handle this, but I couldn't. So of course, as the day goes, we get hung up. So we get on the road right about the time the sun's setting. As soon as we hit the freeway, my eyes are closed. I'm asleep. I mean, I'd wake up for a couple seconds and look around, and it was pouring down rain. I remember coming up to a sign that said heavy, dense fog, and I was like, oh dear God. And then boom, I was out again. So what I like to say is, because I'd gotten plenty of sleep the night before, what I like to say is God just gave me like the supernatural Xanax. Because even if I wanted, I tried to stay awake. We never even turned on the radio. My husband drove the whole way. My daughters had their headphones on. The whole way there and back, no radio. With me sitting there, asleep, next to him. I couldn't do it. If I was driving, I'd be like, you gotta stay awake and talk to me. You need to keep your eyes open, because if I'm going down with my eyes open, so are you. But no, I fell asleep. And I'd wake up and we'd be going around a turn, and I couldn't even hold my eyes open. I was just like, okay. So, supernatural Xanax is what I like to call it. And it got me through the trip. I had a great time. And I'm glad that I went with it, and I didn't like back out and be like, okay, I can't do this, too much anxiety. But the thoughts that are in your head that get you going, that are just so deceitful, it's like the enemy is just like, something good will come out of this, so I'm not going to let you go. I'm going to do everything I can to stop you. And I was just like, I'm tired of living like this, and I really don't control anything. I don't know who we think we are that we control anything anyways, by staying home and not doing what we need to do, or not going to the store by ourselves or whatever. Like, what am I really controlling? I have no control. I did not create this world. I don't control the tide. I don't control the sun and the moon. I don't. But I sure think I do, and I act like it, and I have destroyed my life trying to make it happen. So after that day, I have to say my anxiety diminished quite a bit. Like, it was just like, you figured it out. All I got to do is call upon the Lord, and it fixes my situation. Not to say I'm not going to get anxious again. Come on, let's be realistic. But one success like that is worth talking about. One success of just refusing to stop. It's so easy to stop. It's so easy to be like, you know what? It's just too much. I don't want to go. Let's just stay home and do something else. So easy to do that. Hard to do it, but it's easy, if you know what I mean. Because you don't want to miss out on things, and you don't want to not do anything, especially when everybody's together and you're like, oh, I can handle this. But deep down, the voices in your head are just like, we're not going. You don't want to go. But I went. And it felt good. So I got to have more days of that. I need to be like, hey, Lord, give me some more of that supernatural Xanax, and let's get through this day. So I have a client coming in about 15 minutes, so I don't want to talk too long. But I'm trying. I wish I had recorded it. I'm sorry, I just couldn't. It was so overwhelming and everything that I didn't record the thoughts, because it's hard to muster them back up now. But it's amazing that we can be having a conversation with somebody, and at the same time, there's another thing in your head. Like, if you have anxiety, you know what I'm talking about, where you're trying to fake it all on the outside, and yet you can hear what they're saying, but the voices in your head are just like deafening, like paralyzing, I guess is a better way to put it. I realize my hair looks kind of atrocious today, but yeah. One of the things that made me really anxious was the fact that my husband and my 2 daughters and I were going on this trip. My 3rd daughter, my oldest, was going to stay home. She had to work, and she wasn't going to be able to go. And I don't like separating the family and traveling. That's one of my big things, because what if something happens? Should be left alone. Like, if we all died. Like, literally, that's where my head goes. My husband makes this trip multiple times a week, sometimes multiple times a day. The man's been driving for 30 years, if not more. Yes, he's older than me. And I am like, oh, we're all gonna die in this accident, and my oldest daughter's gonna have to handle everything. She doesn't know what to do. She wouldn't know the bank account information. She wouldn't know how to like get life insurance or anything. Anyway. So that started off, like, that was one of the things, was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna split up, and what if something happens? What if? What if? I'm so sick of what if. It's like I know it front and back, and every time it's a lie. But man, my brain was going like unreal. And then, gosh, it almost sounds sadistic in the thoughts that you can have, and how fast you can go from, we're just gonna go for the day and have a good time. You're saying that on the outside, and then on the inside, the things that are repeating in your head are just, it's like somebody else is in there talking to you. Nobody wants to think these thoughts. I really don't think that, daughter just left, really don't want to think that everybody's going to die. How would you die? What if one of them lived? Da, da, da. Like, nobody wants to think those things, but in my messed up brain, based on, my counselor, which of course I see one, I'm going to be honest with you, have been seeing for quite a few years now, would say, your brain has been trained to think one way based on how you grew up, and the traumas that happened in my life. But here's a doozy for you. And this is why I struggle, and I think this is probably my number one anxiety-inducing thought, is death. I know that sounds really probably very normal, like not everybody normal, but everybody with anxiety, the biggest thing is death. Like, oh, I'm having a heart attack, blah, blah. Which you're right. But here's the deal. As long as I can remember, every day I woke up, I thought I was going to be the one that would find my mom dead. That's my big secret. Every day, for as long as I can remember, until I separated myself to where now I don't call her in the morning. I just really don't have anything to do with my mom anymore, because every day of my life, for a long time, I was the only one that was there. And I'm the youngest. And growing up, always knowing there was medical this and medical that. If it was going to happen, it was going to happen to her. All my life that I can remember. Now, I'll tell you, I don't remember much from 11 down, because some traumatic thing happened, and my counselor and I are working on that. We're getting those memories back slowly but surely. But I still remember thinking those things. I was the youngest. I was the one left at home the most, I just knew I was going to be the one that found her dead. That messes the kid up. Going in and checking and make sure, can I hear her snoring? Is she breathing? That messes somebody up. And death, even though as a Christian I believe in heaven and know what's happening, to a child that didn't have many people around, or was kind of put off on different people, where I've never really felt like I was part of my family. I've always said that to people and they don't quite get it. but I just never have felt like I belong to this family. I've tried in many ways to try and make it like that. There's just a disconnect. I don't know if it's what it's from, because we haven't figured that part out yet, but that's something I struggle with. And when you're a kid and your dad's gone, and your siblings or children, something happens to one of your parents, or the only parent that you really have around, whether she's mentally or emotionally there or not, you have no structure when that's what you're worried about every day. And so I don't feel like I'm explaining this correctly, but I'm gonna just let God take it where it goes. That's my biggest secret. Every day I would think about it. Or when my phone rings, I'd think about it. Is that going to be her? Is that going to be somebody telling me, oh, she's dead? Usually when my mom calls, the first thought in my head is, oh, Grandma's dead, or Grandpa's dead, which Grandpa did die, but Grandma's still alive. I associate my mom with death. I don't think my siblings know that. They probably don't care. And maybe to them, in their perception, that's not really a true statement. But my perception, how I feel, I associate death with my mom. And after years of dealing with it, and there's other issues that my mom has that I don't want to go into right now. But my issue is death. So somebody sees this that knows me, that really knows me, or knows how my childhood was or whatever, they might be like, well, we didn't know that. Well, of course you didn't know that. Because it took me years to understand that that was the correlation. Shit happens in your life. But I don't want to let it define me anymore, so I'm trying to do things about it, and we're going to keep doing things about it. Even though I'm exposing things that I pretty much have only exposed to my counselor and maybe my husband on occasion. Maybe some friends know, because, well, I'll take that back. More people know now, because as I got older and I figured it out, that it goes all the way back to that. I felt more free knowing about it, like I could speak about it and people can understand, well, that's where she's coming from. That they could see where that might mess up a kid or cause some mental discrepancies in the brain. So I have a client that's going to come in a minute, so I'm going to stop here and we'll talk more. My goal is actually to try and do one video a day. My days are kind of crazy right now, getting back to work from vacation and then also having my husband around a lot more. He's told me that he will give me the space I need to do what I need to do, but I'm hoping to get started on taking you guys on exposure therapy with me. I wish I could have taken you that day. You would have been amazed, or probably bored to death because I was sleeping. But anywho, I hope you're all having a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.